Hi everyone, my name is Tracy Nugent and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome to the video. I hope you enjoy it. I honestly almost forgot my introduction there because I really haven't filmed in quite a while. It's been over a month since I've picked up the camera and started filming myself. But you know what time it is. It's another one of the videos as part of my Nature Almanac series that I've been uploading on my channel. It's kind of crazy because it's been exactly 1 year since I started uploading these types of talking videos on my channel. And technically I started this monthly series last May, but March was the month that I actually started filming like these types of just talking videos in general, and sort of like starting up this channel and creating these types of videos for you guys. So yeah, we have passed our 1 year anniversary since this channel has been established, which is insane. I feel like years just go by so fast now. But technically my first video last year was on March 20th, which was the first day of spring last year. And now I'm filming this video on March 24th. So I'm actually really late to the game because technically, these types of videos are supposed to be filmed at least towards the end of the previous month before the next month starts, in advance, or it can be filmed in the beginning of the month as long as the video goes out right away in the beginning of the month. But I'm filming this super late because honestly, I feel like I've just been so busy lately, and I feel like I use that excuse all the time, and I know that that's not a real excuse to keep using, but I'm just being brutally honest. I feel like this channel has been kind of on the back burner for me because I've had so many other sort of exciting chapters and endeavors in my life that I've been sort of working on and working towards. Well, a huge update recently is, I know that I've mentioned in, a few of my previous monthly installment videos that I had quit my corporate job back in December. So December was the last month that I was working that corporate job. My last day was December 8th. So I actually got to be sort of like unemployed for Christmas and like the holidays and stuff, which was really nice. So I've spent about 3 months being unemployed, but I feel like I'm just always so restless. So I started applying to new jobs in my area, in my hometown area. I didn't think I would get any of them. I was kind of just applying just for fun, just because I was bored, and I figured like, it gave me something to do in the meantime. And I applied to a couple positions, but this was the one that I heard back from. And I actually, I nailed the interview process and I got the job. So now I'm going to be employed again this coming April, so next month. And I mean, we're already, near the end of March, so I'm going to be starting in about 2 weeks, which is kind of nerve-wracking, but I hope it won't be too bad. So that's kind of like a big life update that's been going on recently is my unemployed chapter is coming to an end, and I'm going to be working part-time at my city hall. And I won't be working in the government. I have an office at my hometown's city hall, but I am technically working for a nonprofit organization that's based locally around this area, and I started off volunteering for them. So I've been training to be an ESOL or English tutor for non-native English speakers in my area, and so I'm sort of nearing the end of my training, and I'm going to be starting to do my volunteer work as an English tutor very soon here. But that specific organization that I've been involved with over the past 2 months recently posted that they were looking for someone to fulfill a program assistant position for them, and I applied for that position, and I honestly didn't think I was going to get it. I didn't think I would even hear back from them, but I did hear back from them, and the interview process was very quick and seamless, and I ended up getting the job right away. So It's only part-time. I'm only working about 10 hours a week, so only about 5 hours a day. They only need me in office for two days a week. So it'll be nice. I'm mostly going to be more of like a subcontractor for them than like an actual W-2 employee. So yeah, that'll be very, very fun. The reason why I applied to a few of these jobs in my area was because it was more part-time work. I did not want to go back to full-time 40 hours a week, 5 days a week type of work. At least not yet. Maybe someday when I'm older and I feel like, you know, I have sort of more motivation to get my life together again, then maybe I'll probably step back into, you know, a more secure and stable corporate job again. But I feel like for now, I haven't even finished, like, you know, this unemployed chapter of my life yet. Like, I was hoping to be unemployed a bit longer, and I wasn't ever really unemployed. Like, I still was doing like part-time work. Like I mentioned in a couple of my other videos that I was trying to start this pet sitting business. So I've been a rover pet sitter for a while now. I also have a WAG profile as well, but I don't get any clients off of WAG, so I actually prefer rover because a lot of my clients, well, all of my clients come from rover, so I do highly recommend rover over WAG, but I do have both just in case. But I honestly don't get anything from WAG, so I just kind of have it there just to have it. But yeah, so I've been doing a lot of pet sitting, like a lot of pet sitting. So that's been definitely keeping me afloat for the last 3 months or so of being like quote unquote unemployed. And I was kind of trying to make it like a full-time job, like a full-time, you know, business. I mean, it's sort of more of a side hustle now, especially now that I'm actually starting a real quote unquote real job soon. But I do still want to invest time and energy into getting my pet sitting business started up, just because that is something I'm still passionate about. I don't want to give up on it just because I'm going to be working again. I definitely do still want to keep it as like my branding and my, I guess, like quote unquote side hustle, like just like my passion project, as well as this YouTube channel. I don't make any money off of YouTube. I've just kind of been uploading just for fun. And also because I kind of have a very little bit of OCD, like I'm very anal about completing things. And I started this monthly series where, as you guys know, if you've been following me for a while, but also if you just kind of took a glance at my YouTube channel, I don't really have that many videos on my main page or anything, so you would probably get the gist of it, that I've been uploading monthly installment videos of me reading from this book, as well as reading a little snippet from this book. And basically it's a month by month video, because this book is divided up into specific months throughout the year. So I'm very anal at trying to complete all of the month's readings before I finally officially end this series and move on with different types of content and videos, which I am excited for. I have been kind of bored of this series for a while now, but I've just kind of been pushing through to get it to be done just because I'm so anal about just completing it, and I don't want to just like leave it hanging at like a random month and then not completing all the month's readings. So we're so close. This is the second to last video installment as part of the series. My final video of the series will be for next month in April, because technically the first video of this series was last May. So I am excited to complete this video series in a few weeks now, next month in April. But I'm mostly just excited to close this chapter, close this series, and sort of go back to my roots of why I wanted to start this channel in the first place, was to mostly just turn on the camera, not have to read from a book or a script, and just talk to you guys about what's going on, what's sort of on my mind lately, and go on rants and vents about topics that interest me, or topics that I'm passionate about, or that maybe anger me or irritate me a little bit, or whatever. Just like any topics in general that I am passionate about in the moment, I tend to want to voice that out loud and have it sort of like as like video diaries, video journals, on my channel as like living proof or evidence to myself that like these were the topics that interested me in that point in time, and that I have proof that, you know, I have it sort of voiced out, so that, you know, years in the future I can look back on this YouTube channel and see the types of topics that I was discussing, and see like what topics that I was very passionate about or interested in, or topics that, you know, might have annoyed me back then but might not really annoy me anymore nowadays. So I feel like this channel, the reason why I started it was because I wanted it to be a safe space for not only myself to come on here and talk about things that I want to talk about, but also just for anyone else out there who might feel the exact same way as I do about these certain topics. So a lot of these videos are very podcast style discussion videos, and like video essays and stuff like that. So I'm really excited to get back into creating different types of content, and different types of discussion videos, and like podcast style videos for you guys. I'm very thankful for a couple of new subscribers that have recently joined. You know, there's people out there that have been leaving very kind comments. So I'm really grateful for all the positivity out there from all the guys that, you know, have stumbled onto this channel and actually like me enough to subscribe and comment and watch these videos. But anyways, yeah, I've been rambling a lot, but basically the gist of why I haven't really been successful at keeping up with filming my YouTube videos is because I have been feeling burnt out from this specific monthly series that I've been doing, so I'm excited for this to end. But also I've just had such a busy month of caretaking for my family. I did mention in my other videos, I am a full-time caretaker, so even though I've been unemployed, I am still actively taking care of my family, so that is, you know, kind of a full-time job in of itself, even if it's like unpaid labor. Sorry, I'm like stuttering now. And yeah, so I've been a full-time caretaker that's unpaid labor, and I've been sort of, you know, doing a lot of pet sitting and making money from that, and making that into a business of some sorts for myself, which I'm still very much interested in keeping up with. And yeah, and I have a new job now that I'm starting soon, so I'm really nervous but very excited. But yeah, I'm excited that I'm taking a step back from corporate and transitioning my career into working in nonprofits. And this organization is an organization that I'm very passionate about because I come from a family of immigrants. All of my immediate family members, including my sibling and everything, they immigrated here from Vietnam. So I am first generation Vietnamese American. So I'm very thankful to be giving back to my community in tutoring non-native English speakers and sort of helping them get well acquainted and adjusted to daily life here in America. But also I'm excited to be starting a part-time position for this organization, as well as doing volunteer work for them very soon. So yeah, I'm sorry for like the 15 minutes of rambling. I'm gonna get started and read from this book. Also, I just wanted to mention, I know this is a different setup because I usually film in my bedroom, because my bedroom has a much better background. This is the guest room / office space in my apartment, so it doesn't look really well put together at all. I never go into this room. Well, I used to use this room all the time when I was working my remote corporate job. This was my office because I didn't want to work in my bedroom, because that's like psychologically that's not good to work in the same room that you sleep at. So I wanted to create my bedroom as like my sanctuary, and I didn't want to work in there. So I used to work in this room all the time when I was still working my remote job, but ever since I quit, I honestly never go in here anymore. But the reason why I wanted to film in here is because this room has much better lighting. So my bedroom looks better, like it has a better, more polished, cute background in the back of like my videos, but the lighting is so atrocious because my desk faces away from my window. So I'm very much backlit in my bedroom. So I have to use like a lamp to light my face a little bit, like artificial lighting, but I'm not using any artificial lighting for filming this video because I'm actually facing a window right in front of me, and a lot of sunlight comes in through this room a lot more than my bedroom. And also just like in general, my setup is just, it doesn't make sense because I'm not facing my window in my bedroom. So my desk in this guest bedroom, as well as like the office, faces more towards the window, and it's also a much longer, bigger desk, so I have way more space to set my camera. I've got my drink, my coffee, I've got all my books here, so this is a much larger desk, which is so nice, and I feel less cramped. So even though the background looks not good, at least like I'm very comfortable, the lighting is good, the desk is huge, so there's a lot more space, and I feel like it's just more comfortable to set up. So that's sort of like, you know, more context as to why my setup looks different in this video. So I'm gonna start reading now, and I'm mostly gonna be facing down at my book that's placed on my desk in front of me. So this video is kind of propped up at like a different angle than my other videos in my room, because my other videos in my room I have to hold my book up and then I'm more like facing you guys, where the setup I'm like facing downwards at my desk. Let me see if I can I don't know if that makes sense. I'll just keep you guys here for now, and then yeah, we'll see how this goes. Okay. Also, if you're watching, feel free to fast forward all of this ranting, because I know I rant a lot, but I feel like I never film, so that's why I always want to update you guys before I jump into the content. Let me take a sip of coffee. Okay. Oh, and this book, if you're new to the series, is called The Leaping Hare, Nature Almanac, your year-long mindful guide to reconnecting with nature. And I love that this book is set up in, it's divided in different seasons of the year, as well as divided in different months. So it goes from month to month. So happy spring, by the way. It's officially spring now in the Northern Hemisphere, in the equinox. Let me see if I can fix you guys a bit. Okay. So this is the illustration for spring. So this book divided spring up as March, April, and May. March, time to be joyful. Spring brings the promise of freedom, new growth, and fresh experiences. This freaking illustration is so gorgeous. Like, I love these colors so much because it reminds me of Bridgerton, which, speaking of Bridgerton, I am so obsessed with the newest season. I know I keep rambling and I keep going off topic, but the newest season might be my favorite season because I'm kind of biased, because I'm Asian, like I'm East Asian, and so I loved that they casted a Korean, like an East Asian woman to play the female lead and be the love interest. Like, I freaking love that so much. I feel like it gives such representation for us Asian girlies, because I like, there's not a lot of like Asians in Hollywood movies and shows and in media in general. It's mostly like white females, a lot of white women, Caucasian women as being like the female leads. So it's so refreshing to see like them cast non-white females to be the female leads in a lot of these popular shows and movies, because the only popular movie that came out in recent years that centered around East Asians was Crazy Rich Asians, and that was a really good movie. I really enjoyed it a lot, but I feel like there's really not that many like mainstream shows or movies that well, I guess like there's like Squid Games and you know, a lot of those like Korean dramas and K-pop, you know, music and stuff that obviously centers around Asians, but I feel like in just like American-based media, there's not a lot that centers around Asians or just other ethnicities in general. And so I love that Bridgerton is so diverse. And my favorite seasons ever are the second season with Kate and Anthony and this fourth season with Benedict and Sophie. I love Kate. She's so beautiful, just as much as I love Sophie. She's also breathtaking. Like, they're both so gorgeous. And Anthony and Anthony and Benedict are just like, they're so dreamy. I like Colin too, but I feel like I didn't really like the chemistry between Colin and Penelope. I feel like this is turning into a rant. I need to stop and get back to reading this book, but maybe I can create like a whole separate Bridgerton themed video just discussing my thoughts on the show, which I love, by the way. I love that show with all my heart. I obsess over that show. I can't stop talking about it. I love it so much. But yeah, definitely the second season and this newest fourth season are hands down the best Bridgerton seasons ever, in my opinion. I was not a fan of the first one. I thought the first one was kind of boring because I didn't really like the chemistry between Daphne and Simon. Like, the actors are both so attractive, but I feel like just because you cast attractive people, that doesn't mean that they have chemistry with each other. And I mean, they did kind of have chemistry, but I don't know. I wasn't too invested in their story. But yeah, definitely the second and the fourth seasons are the best. I did enjoy the third season. I feel like it received a lot of unnecessary hate. I did enjoy it for what it was, even though I don't necessarily think Colin and Penelope had that great of chemistry either. But I feel like it was good for what it was. But yeah, anyways, these colors and these flowers and stuff just reminds me so much of Bridgerton, and so I love the illustrations in this book. So that was March. This next part is an eco reflection called Free Spirits. It is not uncommon for us to dream of flying. Free from the tug of gravity, we glide down a hillside or across the landscape, feet no longer engaging with the earth. A half-lost memory of liberation lingers when we wake. Birds are the free spirits of the natural world, agile, aerial inhabitants of the rich environment we all share. Much of their attraction lies in the way they come and go in their own time, unhindered by fences, unrestrained by weight. Deep down, we envy their ability to fly. Birds do not belong to a particular place, though they have their own wide territories. The birds that we feed do not belong to our garden, although we may see them there regularly and talk easily of our goldfinches or our hummingbirds. We may even come to recognize some individuals, the friendly bird that watches us as we dig the garden or becomes very interested in the compost we spread around the roses. But open the garden door and the birds on the feeder are off in a flash, disappearing into bushes or over the hedge and away. They take flight and vanish. The same rapid dispersion happens when a hawk casts its sinister shadow cruising low through the garden on the hunt for a meal. So that is the illustration for this little essay. Very cute. I'm going to try to read through this fast because I've been rambling too much, and this is kind of a long chapter, I'm not going to lie, for March. So this next section is all about stargazing, and it is called Auriga, Latin for charioteer. I don't know if I'm pronouncing any of these words right. Auriga is part of the Perseus group of constellations that are connected to the Perseus myth. It is known as the charioteer and was so named because its brightest stars, including Capella and Menkalinnon, formed a shape that reminded the Romans of the pointed helmet of a charioteer. Auriga is the site of the galactic anticenter, the point in the sky directly opposite the galactic center as viewed from Earth. The galactic center is the center of our Milky Way galaxy, located in the constellation Sagittarius. Because it is located on the band of the Milky Way, Auriga has many bright open clusters within its borders that are easy targets for amateur telescopes. It also hosts Capella Aurigae, the sixth brightest star in the night sky. Best time to observe. Auriga calls to mind the shepherds who stay with their flocks on the hillside for months at a time, living in tune with nature and the seasons, and likely very knowledgeable about the night sky. The life of a shepherd must be tough and often lonely, but their job is simple: take care of the flock. Today, many of us crave a life more like this, simpler, in contact with nature, and time to just sit and be. When life gets busy, it's often these simple things that we cut out first, but when we stop doing things that nourish us, we become depleted and stressed. Auriga can remind us to be more shepherd-like, simplify things, take time, and notice the rhythms of life. So that's the constellation, what it looks like. It does look like the helmet of a charioteer. It's very cool. So that's the stargazing section. This next section is called Well-Being, Gardening. Gardening is more than just a functional activity. If human beings needed only nutrition, they wouldn't grow flowers or put benches in their gardens. Gardening nourishes our minds as well as our bodies. It is part physical workout, part therapy and meditation. It also reconnects us with nature and tops up our vitamin D. So while many community gardens are simply a way of combining food production with socializing with your friends, some use the many gifts that gardening offers to help educate, inspire, and heal. Why does gardening feel so good? It is repetitive but challenging. You can let your mind wander while weeding. You get exercise and fresh air, which is vital for the health of a society leading increasingly sedentary lives. Very true. I feel like I'm such a sedentary person. It's not good. On a social level, gardening can take you away from people if you need peace and quiet. Conversely, many of us begin searching for connection after the isolation of COVID lockdowns. In this case, gardening can offer a non-threatening environment in which to find this. Whatever your skill level or social confidence, there is something there for you. I like that this book mentioned the COVID lockdown, because I honestly, I don't know if I'm gonna get a lot of hate for saying this, but I really enjoyed COVID lockdown and quarantine and all that stuff. That was honestly the best time of my life, and I know it's very insensitive of me to say that because I am privileged for being like in a environment that I was able to feel safe in. I mean, I did get COVID, but it wasn't until like, I think maybe like a year or two later, after like the vaccines came out and everything. But anyways, yeah, I feel like I really thrived during the whole like COVID crisis, just because it felt, I'm such an introvert and I'm such a homebody. Like that summer of 2020 when it was like peak COVID, I felt very free because I didn't have to deal with FOMO, the fear of missing out, anymore, because we were all in the same boat. We were all participating in lockdown with each other. No one was out and about. Like it was really nice. And I lost a lot of weight. My acne went away. I ate healthier. I exercised. Like I just had more time to do things that were nourishing and healthy for me. So I actually really did enjoy COVID, which I know is very controversial and insensitive for me to say, because a lot of people were dying and dealing with health crises, but it was a pretty good time for me. Anyways, moving on. This next section is called Plant Knowledge. What is a tree? We all recognize a tree when we see one, and there are plenty of characteristics that allow us to distinguish an oak from a beech or an apple tree from a pear tree. But it is surprisingly difficult to pin down the defining characteristics of trees in general. When trying to define a tree, we can begin by saying that it is a perennial, that is long-lived, woody plant with normally a single defining stem that reaches at least 3 or 4 meters, or at least 10 or 13 feet tall. This feature usually distinguishes it from a shrub, also a woody perennial, which has several to many stems from the base and is shorter. However, there is no clear distinction between trees and shrubs, at the point at which they meet. A tree can have more than one stem and sometimes several. Moreover, many species can grow as either a shrub or a tree. For example, many trees, whilst they make magnificent specimens in the lowlands, will be reduced to stunted shrubs when growing on mountains or in other exposed positions. So that was a little section about trees. Very beautiful illustration here. A lot of different species. This illustration for this next part is so beautiful. I'm excited to show you guys after I read it. This next section is called Eco-Reflection, Recycling in the Garden. Repurposing is ecological. Reuse reduces waste and economic. It feels creative and resourceful, like throwing together a meal from the last of the leftover ingredients. Gardens lend themselves to repurposing and reusing, whether it's a plant from a neighbor, a gate of wooden pallets, or a chicken coop of scrap wood. Recycling turns the garden into an ever-evolving masterpiece of innovation. As you spend more time in a garden, you get to know it better, from the way light hits different areas throughout the changing seasons to where certain soils can be found. Friends and resources show up, then move on to greener pastures. One year you decide to plant a pear tree, another time you contemplate adding chickens. Children come and go, and the pear tree gets bigger. The garden is a long conversation between the land and the gardener. Look how absolutely beautiful this illustration is. Like, I'm so obsessed with it. So there's like, I don't know if this is like someone's house or if it's like meant to be like a gardening shed. It might be a shed. And then there's like a little, I don't know what these are called, like a little, like a wagon. Yeah, a wooden wagon. There's like wooded fencing, someone's gardening hat, chicken, flowers, trees in the background. It's just so beautiful. I love it. I love it so much. Okay. Just checking to see how much we have left. Okay. This next section is called Well-Being, Nature as a Sanctuary. Creating an indoor garden is not a major undertaking, but the addition of attractive houseplants can bring a new source of pleasure into the home. Over time, you can see the changes as your plants grow and develop new leaves and blooms. You could even propagate new shoots and give the baby plants to friends and family. Although do bear in mind that certain plants are poisonous to humans or animals, and keep them well out of reach if this might be the case. Plants, like every other living being, need to be treated with respect. When you feel like things are getting on top of you in life, nurturing plants can help you get back in control. Whilst you will never be able to fully have your life in order, you can decide how to arrange your plants, what vegetables you want to grow, where the pot plants can move to, and how frequently you feed and water them. Bad day at work? Spend some time looking after your indoor plants, wiping off the dust and checking they are not too dry. Outside, cut back the dead ends, turn over the soil and pull up the weeds, leaving a clean canvas for your other plants to thrive. The act of caretaking is healing in itself. By handling your plants with gentleness and skill, care and attention, you are literally growing yourself a better living environment. You do it for them and for you at the same time, experiencing a balance between being the one who cares and the one who is cared for. Look after your botanical friends and let them cheer you up. This is also another very beautiful illustration. That is so gorgeous. It's an illustration of this woman caring for her indoor plants. Let me see if that's better. Okay. Take another sip of my coffee. So this next section is all about growing carrots. Easy to grow, although not necessarily easy to grow well. Carrots are a staple of most vegetable plots and community gardens. Quick maturing cultivars can produce early crops, especially if grown under cover, whilst later cultivars stored well can last through much of the winter. Planting tips. To an extent, sowing density depends on cultivar, soil type, and how big you want your carrots. You could sow a little more than needed and thin to the desired spacing. Although some believe this can attract pests by bruising the leaves and releasing the carrot smell. Cultivation. Small amounts of seed can be sown every few weeks to avoid a bumper crop later in the season and to ensure continuity of supply. Whilst it is useful to water carrots during dry spells, they should not be overwatered. If you can, leave a few plants to go to seed, because carrot flowers and seeds are particularly good for attracting beneficial insects. Weed control. Carrots need a lot of weeding to avoid being swamped, especially in wet years. Try this trick to give you a head start. Sow the seeds and then cover the end of the row with a sheet of clear plastic. The weeds under the plastic will germinate a little quicker. As soon as you see weeds showing under the plastic, go over the whole row with a weed burner. This will kill all weeds that have germinated in the rest of the row, but that are not yet showing. The carrots themselves will not be harmed because they germinate a little slower. Harvest. The roots can be harvested at any size, although they are awkward to handle when small. Roots left in the ground too long may experience pest damage. You can also eat the foliage, which can be added to soups and stews. The seeds are also edible. Container tip. Carrots also grow well in containers. Try to find short, early, or quick maturing cultivars and water well. Their lifespan is 2 or 3 seasons. The plant itself sow directly into soil or containers from spring onward, but not when temperature goes above 29 degrees Celsius or 85 degrees Fahrenheit. Carrots grow best in a light, sorry, my throat is kind of dry. Carrots grow best in a light, sandy soil, but adequate crops can be grown in most situations. So that is that section, all about gardening or growing carrots. Okay. Yeah, this chapter is, we're almost done, Okay, so this next section is all about foraging, called Wild Scents of Nature. You walk through woodland in the spring, perhaps along a winding path made by a badger, when suddenly you catch the scent of garlic, wild garlic. You stop and look about you, and there, beneath the bushes and around the fallen timber and old decaying tree stumps, white flowers are bursting from a carpet of fresh, glossy green leaves. You have caught the scent and you breathe it in, savor it. The wild scents of nature are elusive. We have forgotten how to enjoy them. With sensory awareness, the world is revealed in a new light. The landscape is no longer something that we are just passing through and observing. We feel organically part of our world, fully immersed and present. The way that we experience the landscape and plant life through our senses remind us, too, that we are a holistic and integral part of nature. So this is the illustrations for this section. Okay. All right, we're so close to finishing. The next section is all about growing. It's another gardening section, and it is called What is a Seed Bomb? Firstly, they are not explosive or edible. A seed bomb is a little ball made up of a combination of compost, clay, and seeds. What is it for? The compost and clay act as a carrier for the seeds so they can be launched over walls or fences and into inaccessible areas such as wasteland or railways. But what is the point? Why can't you just throw seeds loose? Most seeds are very light, and there is a risk of them being blown away by the wind, making them unsuitable for launching long distances. How do I make them? There are various ways of making seed bombs. You need to find a carrier for the seeds. This method uses natural ingredients, compost and clay. The compost offers nutrients for the seeds to germinate and grow strong during their infancy, and the clay binds the seed bomb, making it hard enough not to break when it hits the ground. How do they work? After about 3 weeks, the first seedlings work their way through the seed bomb and root into the ground below. The seedlings will then grow into mature plants and face whatever conditions Mother Nature has in store for them. As they grow, more seeds germinate and the seed bomb begins to dissolve. This can take days, weeks, or months. It depends on the quality of rainfall. Seeds will remain dormant until their environmental needs are met with these factors: water, correct temperature, and a good position to grow in. There is a sense of unpredictability with seed bombing. Its random nature is what attracts people. The magic of waiting to see if this strange little ball will spring to life, if it actually works. That's interesting. I've never heard of this concept before, seed bombing. So that's the illustration for this section. And we are at the final section for March's chapter in this book. And this is a visualization called air. Nature can move us physically and emotionally, and there are few better ways to experience that than enjoying how the air can buffet us about. Go out in wild winds and let yourself be blown about and hold your jacket out like a parachute. Fly kites and watch them soar high in the sky. Try windsurfing and feel the air drive you across the water. Watch the air flows catch the sparks from your bonfire and send swirling smoke into the sky. This is nature acting directly upon you. Allow the air to flow through your inner self. Connect to nature's breath and become one with the wind. Be wild, be free, be you. Let your spirit soar. So that was the final little section for this March chapter. That's the illustration. So yeah, that was March. It was kind of a quick little section. Next we, the final chapter will be next month in April, and then this series will be complete and I can create more videos for you guys. But let me just flip through to see if I missed anything real quick. Let's see. Sometimes these pages tend to like get sticky, so they stick together. So I don't know if I missed a section by accident. I'm just flipping through. Nope, I got all of it. I read all of it. So, yep, that was March. Very, very beautifully illustrated. I love spring so much. I love all the seasons. I think all the seasons have such beauty in their own way, so it's hard to pick my favorite season, but I feel like fall might be my favorite, but I love spring, I love summer, I like winter as well. I know winter can get kind of depressing if, after a long while of it, but I think the beginning of winter is very beautiful because I love snow as well. I think snow is so cozy and beautiful to look at. And I'm very grateful to live in an environment where it snows. Well, I'm grateful to live in a place that has all 4 seasons in general, so yeah. Okay, up next, before I close out this video, I'm gonna be reading a little snippet from this book. It's called Complete Healing and Natural Remedies, a holistic approach to mental health and healing, natural remedies, foods, lifestyle strategies, and therapies. So if you've been keeping up with the series for a while, I always read a little section, a little snippet from this book after finishing the month's chapter from this book, just a way to close out the video. I don't know why I almost said window. Okay, so the section that I'm planning on reading from this book is called A Holistic Approach To view mental health as simply concerning the mind underestimates its impact and also unnecessarily limits the resources we can choose from to maintain mental equilibrium or find a path back to wellness. Multiple studies show that physical symptoms often accompany mental and emotional ones, and vice versa. Therapies that treat body, mind, and spirit as one allow for truly holistic mental health and healing. I'm gonna take another sip from my coffee because my throat is dry. The first part is called holistic therapies. As well as the connection between our mental, emotional, and physical health, mental wellness can also affect and be affected by things going on in our environment, where we live, who we live with, where we work, and what is happening in our countries and the wider world. A holistic or whole person approach to mental health takes account of these factors and uses safe, effective natural remedies and therapies that complement each other and work with more conventional approaches to treat mind, body, and spirit. Herbal remedies have been used for thousands of years to heal and to maintain wellness. Many of the conventional pharmaceuticals that we use today are synthesized versions of traditional herbal remedies. For mild to moderate symptoms, herbal remedies can nudge us back to wellness without the debilitating side effects that can sometimes accompany conventional medications. Pages 38 to 71 look at key herbs for mental wellness, what their benefits are, and offer suggestions for simple remedies to use in infusions, decoctions, tinctures, and capsules. Aromatherapy is the therapeutic use of essential oils. Multiple studies have shown that different aromas provoke emotional states, whether to lift mood, calm, or ground us in the here and now. Many healthcare environments now make use of calming or uplifting essential oils such as lavender or citrus to help comfort patients. Pages 72 to 101 explore the key essential oils for mental wellness, how these can be blended to enhance their effects, and how aromatherapy can be used in massage oils, facial spritzes, diffusers, and roller balls. Foods and supplements have a direct effect on the body and mind. Foods supply us with essential nutrients, and many of these in turn are involved in the regulation of mood and mental clarity. Pages 102 to 175 provide information on the importance of whole foods and a diet that provides seasonal variety and explores how ingredients directly impact mood. Where nutrients may be lacking, key supplements for long-term mental wellness are advised. Movement and exercise can come in many forms. Our bodies are meant to move, to bend and stretch and breathe hard. Studies show that a sedentary lifestyle and mental health symptoms such as lethargy, low mood, and lack of motivation go hand in hand. Pages 176 to 201 provide information on the different types of exercise and movement to suit all ages and levels of fitness. Therapeutic practices offer a path to mental wellness. There are a range of helpful therapies and practices that work with mind, body, and spirit, and which can be part of a day-to-day self-care routine or an individual or group therapy. Pages 202 to 241 look at therapies that involve touch, breath, sound, and mindfulness. Some also work on our energy flow to bring the mind and emotions back into balance. Information is given on how each therapy works and what its specific benefits for mental wellness are to make it simple to choose what is right for you. Symptom checker. For all but the most serious mental health issues, it is good to start with a wellness check, looking at whether, for example, you are feeling fatigued, depressed, anxious, withdrawn, or are lacking focus or motivation. These are states we all experience to varying degrees at times. They may be chronic and a sign that you need help, transient and linked to life stages, stress-related, or from a loss of work-life balance. Pages 26 to 37 explore how you are feeling now, offer an insight into cause, and point to the natural approaches in the book that may work best. Calming, sorry, I think I just heard someone walking outside of my window, so that's why I looked up. Calming passion flower eases anxiety, and its sedative properties are helpful for insomnia. Summer berries are high in vitamin C, needed to synthesize mood-regulating serotonin. So that was this section. So this book is all about like holistic natural healing and remedies and stuff like that. So it has like a lot of like lifestyle advice and tips in here. Like there's a lot of like herbal you know, like remedies and stuff, you know, like exercises, recipes for healthy foods, and healthy, like, I don't know, just like herbal medicines, aromatherapy. So like this book kind of has a lot of the stuff that are briefly mentioned in this book, but I feel like this book more so focuses on, you know, being a part of nature, being in nature, observing nature all around you, and being mindful in the moment. Where I feel like this book kind of gives a more closer look into how we can utilize nature and live a more balanced lifestyle holistically, rather than just depending on conventional treatments and medications and therapies and stuff like that. So the reason why I like to read from both of these books is because I feel like they both go hand in hand with both of their themes. And plus I got them both at the same exact time at Barnes & Noble last year, so that's why I figured it would work best combined in this monthly series. Anyways, so that was that. If you're new to this channel, these videos tend to drag on for a long time. It's already almost an hour, and if you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. And I'm so sorry for all the ranting. And also, before I get any more comments, I know that I need to change the batteries in my smoke detector alarms. They keep going off, and I understand that they are annoying. So please, it just went off again as I'm talking about it. So please don't leave any comments about that. I've gotten a lot of comments about that last year, actually, when I first posted on this channel, and I did change out the batteries last year, but now I have to change them again. It's been exactly a year later, so I'm working on it, and I know it's very annoying to have to listen to the beeping constantly. There it goes again. But yeah, please don't leave any hate comments about that. I understand that I really need to change the batteries in my smoke alarms, so that was just a little PCA for you guys. So you don't have to comment. I know. But yeah, thank you so much. I'm sorry for all the ranting. I just feel like I never talked to you guys enough, so I wanted to give you little updates here and there about my life and sort of what's going on lately. I'm excited to be posting next month's video as part of the series, and you know, make even more content for you guys. But yeah, I'm just really excited for this next chapter of my life, and I can't wait to take you guys along with me. I hope you all have a wonderful morning, noon, afternoon, evening, nighttime, whenever it is that you're watching this video. I thank you all again for watching it. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one. So, bye.